This is a review of the Perst 4, an IR visible laser from Zeneco. The Perst 4's claim to fame is its IR laser in the 25 milliwatt range. For those that aren't aware, that's several times more powerful than the other commercial IR lasers on the market, which are limited to 5 milliwatts. This makes it the only option on the market for those that want to acquire a new unit without the hassle and risk of trying to find a legal, full-powered ATPL or D-ball unit. Its price tag is also extremely competitive, coming in at $400 to $470, depending on if you get the red or green plus. The model being reviewed is the red one. It sits in a low-profile aluminum housing and is powered by a single CR123 battery. It's worth noting that the Perst 4 is an IR laser with visible only, no illuminator. For that you need the Perst 3. More on that later. The Viz laser is functional indoors and at night. In broad daylight, it's pretty pathetic, though that is to be expected. You can get about 15 yards in medium daylight settings. The unit comes with a tape switch, and that's about it. At this point, you're probably wondering why a video on a night vision laser is taking place in broad daylight. Yeah, about that one. Let's head inside and look at the laser specifically. When examining this thing, the first thing that comes to mind is how small it is, especially if you've handled the competition. Function on this unit is also very simple. Back for Viz, forward for IR, middle setting is off. Power is adjusted independently on the left. Max is full power, and the two low power modes are both eye-safe-ish. It's worth noting at this point that this unit is essentially a full-powered laser. That means the invisible IR setting on full power will damage your eye really fast. We're talking less than a second. Do not look at this laser. Anyways, the switches on this unit are great. Fits well for a unit with only a couple settings. To operate this unit, there are two buttons, one on the top, quite standard, and one in the back, kinda like a flashlight. Pressing momentarily, more than a second, gives you a momentary laser that turns off when you release. Tap gives you constant on, and double tap gives you strobe. Somewhat intuitive, very easy to catch on to. This is very similar to how Inforce does their lights. It's worth noting that this is almost the opposite of how other units do it. You can mount an iron sight up front, though you will obstruct the battery compartment, meaning the iron sight or the laser has to come off for battery replacement. This isn't too much of an issue though, considering the laser and the visible are both co-aligned, meaning when you zero the unit, you're zeroing both simultaneously. Thus, you can use the visible laser to zero. This can save you a nighttime shooting trip to zero your laser. Windage and elevation are set up assuming the laser sits at the 12 o'clock position. The turret caps are tied to each other, but not to the unit, meaning leave one cap on, adjust the other. Otherwise you might lose the whole thing. The laser will mount a streamlight on its left side. The unit is slightly offset, however, so this is not true if you wanted your light on the right. Remember, I'm a left-handed shooter, so my light mounts to the left when I use a tape switch, to the right when I use a push button. It comes with a tape switch. This is not the same plug type as the industry standard, and uses a 3-pin system, instead of the omnidirectional plug. The tape switch is actually not that bad, and quite frankly far superior to what usually comes with these. It's built into a Picatinny mount, which forgoes the need of some of those ghetto tape/zip tie solutions to affix the tape switch. It also has a physical lockout for the button, and a power adjustment turn knob. While it's not something I typically use for this unit, I would actually be really interested to see something like this on an illuminator version. The unit is water resistant, but I'm not sure to what degree. I've been shooting in the rain, the cold, and the heat. This unit has almost exactly 1,000 rounds under it while riding on this rifle. I store it as my car's rifle, and it's been below freezing for several months now. No problem so far. You get a 1-year full warranty, and then a limited lifetime warranty. Don't do anything stupid. Now on to my experience with the Perst 4. This is obviously my experience, and you should take it with a grain of salt, and weigh it against your own opinion and data points. This also includes my opinion on if this is a good purchase or not. First off, how well does this product do what it's advertised to do? The Viz laser kinda sucks, but that's honestly on me. I should have bought the green laser, which gets 18 milliwatts instead of the 5 milliwatt red, which is what I have. Only 60 bucks more. Should have done it. The size is excellent, much smaller than a D-ball, which was already my favorite form factor, significantly smaller than the ATPL, the L3 one, which is the size of a small child, and the Holosun, which dimensionally is actually quite small, but it sits kind of high compared to the other competitors. The build quality is okay. The overall design is very robust. However, when I got it, I had one of the screws already come stripped, which indicates shit screws, over-torquing. Secondly, the tape switch retainer, which is this little plastic thing that holds the plug in place to keep the electronics safe from moisture, ripped out from the get-go. Again, not a big deal. I'm going to glue it back together when I'm done with this review, but certainly not something you want to see. Especially since the Holosun, which is a similar price bracket, has better build quality for the same-ish price. Finally, the laser itself. It's good, exactly as advertised. It smokes the regular 5 milliwatt laser right out of the water. You don't really notice a difference in a well-lit city, like when you're in your backyard blasting it about. However, in dark environments, it's really noticeable, and you can really stretch this thing out. The final aspect of this is its toughness, obviously to be determined. Though, as mentioned, it has some slight defects, but it's also done well so far. 1,000 rounds under suppressed use made sure it got hot, as well as very cold environments, under freezing for days on end, as well as moist, rain, and mud all throughout shooting sessions. It's done well so far. So, should you buy this or not? Even if you are okay with the feature set, the questionable quality, and the lack of ability to function with industry standard peripheries, there is still one more aspect to consider: the lack of the illuminator. Here comes some opinion and philosophy of use, so buckle up. To me, for a primary night vision gun, the lack of an illuminator is killer. In starlit environments and places close to urban centers, the lack of an illuminator isn't noticeable. And the ability to cut through street lamps, aim out through windows, is something a civilian laser cannot do and is appreciated. Indoors, I'd say it's a wash, literally, since the IR laser splashes enough to light up the environment and is functional. However, in dark environments like a forest or truly overcast nights, the lack of an IR illuminator is a deal breaker. And from personal experience, I am unable to find and engage targets effectively beyond 25 and for sure 50 yards effectively, compared to an IR illuminator combo. There exists an option to run a vampire light, but beyond the downside of removing your ability to instantaneously switch to said white light, you also have to press 2 buttons every time you want to activate and deactivate this light laser combo. Remember, the Surefire Streamlight dual switches that exist do not work with this device. There exist the Zeneco brand flashlights and switches and pads, but I cannot comment on them as I've never used them or actually seen anyone use them. So there you go. I personally don't think this is actually a horrible unit. It just doesn't match my philosophy with night vision employment. That's not to say it doesn't have its niche. As mentioned, it's the only way to buy a new, full-powered laser, and if you feel that, here you are. For me, it's a functional way to get my car gun night vision capabilities and a backup aiming method. However, this is not what I would grab when I plan on using night vision. This was my first review, obviously, so tell me what you think. Otherwise, please comment with any questions or potential future ideas. I'm sure I've missed something. Anyways, have a nice day.